What is going on? Welcome to Making the Case. I'm your host, founder of BecomingJD, Anthony Denmark, where our mission, our goal is to help you guys manifest your lawyer dreams. We believe that no matter what your situationship is, you can get into law school, and that's on period. And thus far in 4 years, we have been able to prove that, getting people in law school from all walks of life, from all different circumstances. Each Wednesday, we come to you live on Instagram, Making the Case, where we share stories, provide encouragement, drop gems and resources, and also remind you of who the F you are, because you have what it takes to be getting law school. You have what it takes to become the lawyer of your dreams, and that's on period. And so I'm really excited. Of course, we have another amazing guest. And of course, the mood in our nation right now is either you up or you're down. So no matter where you are on that line, I want you guys to remain encouraged and realize that your dreams do not change. You got to stay locked in and stay focused. But nevertheless, I'm really excited about our upcoming guests. For you guys out there, I want you guys to let me know where it is that you're viewing our session from. Of course, I'm holding it down over here in St. Louis, Missouri. It's not the place where I want to be, and that's on period, but it's the place where God has me. So where are you viewing our session from? I love to know the fact that we've been able to touch people from all different walks of life and also different demographics. We got Iowa in the house. We got NY in the house. What's up, Nancy Hustle, sis? We got Oklahoma, Charleston, South Carolina. We got VA in the building. That's what's up. And so as you guys continue to tell us where you're viewing our session from, one of the things I want you guys to utilize my chat for is to fill it up with questions. Fill it up with questions, because I want you guys to come away from this situationship fed with a clear message in regards to what you're going to do. Dallas in the house. Hey, Nancy, I'm sending nothing but prayers and positive vibes your way as you make that trip to Oklahoma to take the LSAT. And also to my people out there that are registered for the Houston Law School Forum, your boy's going to be in the building, so I'm going to be there. So make sure you say hi. Don't just stare. Take a picture. Say what's up. And also for my people, what's going on, Judith? Praying for you, sis. And also for my people who have not gone to a forum or fair yet, I want you guys during this live or after this live to make sure you go to the Law School Admission Council Forum website. And I want you guys to register for either the digital forum that's going to be taking place on November 14th. Period. Register for that. It provides a wonderful opportunity. In fact, speaking of forums, that's where I met our next guest from. Her name is Lorraine. Sister's over here doing her crochet thing, and that's one of the things my daughter's into. And we connected. And so I want to go ahead and get her on this live to drop some gems, share her story, because fam, listen, you can be a lawyer, period. Period. The challenges, they gonna be there. But you know what? You're going to win at the end. So let's go ahead and get my girl Lorraine on. Let's see how long it takes before it pops up in the double screen. So we got Hawaii in the building. We got Ohio in the building. What is up?
Am I in? Can you hear me?
What's going on, Miss Lorraine? How we doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and to chat.
I thought it was kind of perfect that as soon as before I brought you on, I was talking about the fairs and forums. And that's just so happened to be where I met you at.
Absolutely. I think that was the perfect meet. I was really shocked and surprised because I've been following you for my law school experience, and then full circle meeting you and then you inviting me is so surreal. So.
And one of the things, of course, let's do our formal introduction. So please introduce yourself and where you're holding it down from, and we can just roll from there.
I love that. Well, I am reporting live from New York City, born and raised, Queens, New York. I am a recent graduate from CUNY School of Law, and now I am excited to be a part of the CUNY Law team. You met me while I was admissions recruiter, so I have that unique perspective of being a student, and admissions appreciated that. So now I do recruitment for admissions at my law school, and I also am a coordinator for our mentorship program in the law school.
Full circle. Now, of course, sidebar. Are you gonna be in Houston this weekend?
I don't think I got that invitation, unfortunately. No. I have been to Houston, but I will not be this weekend,
And
unfortunately.
so one of the things, 'cause I swear I felt like it was certain places. I asked some other people in the midst, just like, nah, I'm not going to Boston. I said, you going to Houston? Yeah, I'm going to Houston. I was like, where are we
Yeah.
cherry picking like
Yes,
that?
absolutely. Absolutely.
But nevertheless, one of the things I said in the comments about you was about your vibe and your energy. This is nothing but positivity. And of
Thank
course,
you.
you guys could probably feel it through the screen right now.
I can.
And
I love
also, that's the
it.
vibe that you gave off at the fairs and the forums as well, as you were definitely blessing a lot of people with your story. And one of the things I think that's amazing is oftentimes I love this space because it allows us to be able to share our stories and also let people know that, yo, yeah, I know it's hard. I know it's hard.
Absolutely.
Yo, that rejection
Absolutely.
letter you get, yo, I felt that,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
does get better. And so I always love to ask people this question, the first question. It's going to take it back to brown sugar. Let me
Okay.
age my a little bit. So, sis, when did you fall in love with law? Not hip hop,
Oh.
but law.
That is a good question. I fell in love with the law in my high school days. I had the lovely opportunity to be a part of the High School Law Institute, which was a like extracurricular program focused on like teaching the law and then preparing for a mock trial simulation. Every Saturday in the winter time, I would go commute 2 hours to Columbia University, the Columbia Law School, and I got to learn the law, criminal law, in trial and procedure, and then prepare for a mock trial as a high schooler. And so that was when I was like, "Oh, I love this. I love the the feeling of being the expert in the room and all eyes on me." And from that point, I knew I wanted to litigate. And then from there on track straight through.
And I think the thing that's amazing is it's like whenever we start our lawyer journey, I tell people, when did you fall in love with it? But it's almost just like we spend the rest of our journey trying to recapture that feeling.
Mm,
And
absolutely.
and the thing about it, what's amazing about it is it allows us to be able to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I failed. Oh, yeah, I got rejected, but man, I got to keep going. And so oftentimes in life we ask God or whoever people believe in, give me a sign. If it was supposed to be, it was supposed to be easy. When did you realize, like, man, you know, this is going to be hard, but I'm going to make it happen?
That is a beautiful question. It wasn't until I won't say I breezed through undergrad, but I definitely was a poli-sci major. So once I was a part of that program, I asked my high school guidance counselor, okay, what major do I have to be in law school to get into law school? And of course they said political science. So I hopped on poli-sci, had a lovely 4 years at Pace University, and then I had to work 2 years in order to afford the law school applications, the prep, LSAT prep. So I was working two part-time jobs at the time just to afford the LSATs and the whole application process. And it wasn't until 2020 that I had enough money to so from 2018 to 2020 to formally apply. And through all that work to get rejected from every law school that
Yeah.
I applied to was heartbreaking. I spent my entire academic career on track for law school and just get flat nose from the six schools that I applied to, including CUNY. Like CUNY said no to me, hand out, flat out. I took that very hard. But I didn't stop because from that rejection, the lovely Pipeline to Justice program pinged me that summer that I got rejected and offered me an application to apply to their program. And that was my second chance. That was like, oh, if you want this, you're gonna show how much you want it through this program with like-minded people who might have also gotten rejected, who also had to work full time just to afford, who didn't have the luxury of um, just the luxury of being able to apply stress free. compared to other folks. So that was when I was like, yeah, I have to show myself. And I did that. I embodied that where I am right now, I think.
And I think the thing that's full circle, you guys, is I want you guys to understand is that literally rejection is a part of the process. Literally, I mean, we swear folk are like, damn, man, I don't want to feel that hurt. I don't want to
Yeah.
feel that pain. But oftentimes, you guys, that's what triggers our growth and our transformation. Because oftentimes I tell people all the time, since I say, listen, the only time we make changes in our life is when we face a hardship. Otherwise, we're gonna keep on rolling like the same mindset that we had in college. Like so many of you guys out there have the same story as Lorraine, myself included. Poli-sci major, went through 4 years. Yep, wasn't no trouble.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, also the LSAT put this ugly head up, and I'm like, whoa, what?
Absolutely.
But each part of this process, you guys, is about helping us elevate and change. Now, you mentioned something, and of course, we talked about it before, is the Pipeline of Justice program. And so I want you to be able to educate these folks on what the Pipeline program is, how do you apply, and we're going to get into it.
I love that. And I have been putting everybody on the pipeline program because there is, unlike any other program in the law schools and the folks that I've known who attended other law schools, the Pipeline to Justice program is specifically a CUNY Black Male Initiative funded program. So CUNY as a network has 25 campuses. CUNY BMI has a home project in every campus in the school, and the pipeline program is the CUNY BMI project at CUNY Law. So this program is targeted for folks just like myself and maybe some of the viewers here who need that extra support and network to beat the LSAT. So part one of the program is retaking the LSAT 2 times. It starts in September, where our lovely LSAT instructor, she is a gem. Her name is Carolyn Nelson. She teaches us how to answer these questions, unlike any other instructor that I've encountered. And I've done prep courses throughout my 2 years preparing to apply. She is the gem, and she's the heart of the pipeline program. One of many. There's many instructors there that is the heart of pipeline, but she is definitely that one in part one of the program. So that's LSAT prep. So from September to January, you're in a weekly or bi-weekly class where you're in a class with other members of the program preparing to take the January and February LSAT. You have to get a desired score. Unfortunately, that's the game that we have to play. We're here to get a desired score for admissions. And then once you hit that score, you would most likely or probably be matriculated into part 2 of the program. So I can't promise that if you get the score, you get automatically accepted to part 2 of the program, but more than likely, yes, it would happen.
And I just want to pause you for a second because I had to, when you said Carolyn Nelson, we got to kind of tell people who the Carolyn Nelson is, you guys.
Absolutely.
So for you guys out there, you guys can go on Google and type in Carolyn Nelson, okay? Carolyn Nelson is a freaking beast. So I know a lot of you guys oftentimes we think about the LSAT, we be like, damn. Prince Review, Kaplan, Blue Book, all this other stuff. But Carolyn Nelson has her own different model that she has her students to prepare for the LSAT. That's completely different. And the reason why the pipeline program is able to have the score level that they have is because you take her course and you're gonna be straight.
Absolutely. You have one-on-one access. I won't say one-on-one access. You're in a class of about 50 to 60 folks. But being in that setting with Carolyn and how she explains these questions, and you are with other people who've been through similar circumstances and all want it just as badly as you do, you study together, you hold each other accountable. And I did the same for my cohort, and you become a family. That's why I love the pipeline program, because before you even start law school, you come in with a family of like-minded people, similar backgrounds, professional careers and stories. And yes, put that in the chat. So if you don't get accepted to the program, you do have access to Carolyn. I'm just saying this program is special because we are being taught by Carolyn in a class setting with a group of folks that are all CUNY like bread, that want to be here, that want to support each other. And so that is the magical part of part one of the program.
And Jada had a question. She said, "May you repeat the score required, please?"
It ranges. So, as a part of admissions, I am advocating for students to achieve the highest score that they
Right.
can get. I know I got into CUNY School of Law or part two of the program with a 156. I know LSAT scores should not matter, but I think we're looking at like the national average range
Right.
at CUNY. But I'm not the person who looks at applications and decides that. I just know my
Would
score.
it be cool if you could share with them what that was your score post working with Carolyn?
Oh, yeah.
What was your score before you worked with Carolyn?
That is a
There we
great question. With
go.
Carolyn Nelson, I went up 11 points from her class. So I think I applied with a 147 or 146, and I went up to a 156 with Carolyn.
That
My
was like
lowest score
number.
was a 135 when I went cold.
So I want you guys so you see that value there, right? And so with the Pipeline to Justice program, is Carolyn included? Do we have to pay for the Pipeline program? How do we
Yes,
get close?
there is a fee. I'm not sure the price of it, but I don't think it's more than $1,000. So the program includes the prep course, like the classes with Carolyn, your seat deposit. So once you become a part of the pipeline program, you forego the whole admissions process again. So you don't have to reapply. This is your seat deposit. If you matriculate to part two of the program, you're already a part of the incoming class. And I think there's materials as well, but I think the price is 800. But I would double check with the pipeline program about that.
So that's about the price of a PS5, the price of, you know,
Oh man, the iPhone. I heard the iPhone is like the new one is like 1,300. So yeah, this is an investment, absolutely, but it is so necessary if this is where you want to be and what you want to do.
and so just bring it. One of the things I love about this is asking questions to get answers. And I want you guys, you got questions, make sure you answer so we can get these questions. So for the Pipeline to Justice program, do you have to first start with getting rejected from CUNY to get admitted, or how does that work?
See, now because I, like myself and a lot of other my classmates who talk so much about the pipeline program, I believe now you can apply to the program through a regular the CUNY application. There's a checkbox. I don't know the process with admissions on if you click this box, do you get an automatic rejection or anything like that? I don't believe that's the case. But I think it is a commitment that if you do get rejected, that you automatically or would get contacted by the pipeline program to apply to the program. So I don't know I don't think it would hurt you, but you can directly apply to the program through the application process, and you do not have to be rejected first.
And for you guys, if someone could help me, it'd be great. If you go to Google and type in CUNY Law Pipeline Program, it's going to pop up. It's
Mm-hmm.
so nice and gracious enough to put the link in the chat. That would be great. But nevertheless, so we went through the first part. I'm
Yes.
sure a lot of people out there are scared. Let's be honest, we traumatized by the LSAT.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, then you went through. You got your LSAT score up by 11 points. Oh my God, I'm sure that brought some tears. I'm
Yeah.
sure that tears.
Yeah. I immediately texted Carolyn, like, you get her number, we could call her. And that's all I had to say and bet. And so then we wait after the February results and we start part two of the program in late March. And from March to June, we are in a mock law school simulation class. So we're learning doctrine, we're learning how to read cases, and our final exam is a law school exam. And if you pass the exam, you are matriculated into the incoming 1L class. So having that skill set, being exposed to IRAC before I even start law school and how to outline is amazing. Amazing. I see a question. Can you still send in applications while waiting to take the January LSAT? Yes. So CUNY Law applications do not close until later in the game. I believe it's March or April, where you can still submit while you're waiting for your pending scores, but you would just notify on your LSAC application or your actual application that you're sending additional scores.
Great question, Pink Wonders. And one of the things I encourage you guys to do is pick up the phone. Do that a lot, right? Contact the law schools and be like, hey, listen, I'm taking the LSAT in January. I want to know, in light of that, should I hold off on submitting my app or should I go ahead and submit it? Because you want to make sure that you're putting yourself in the best position possible for when they evaluate you.
Absolutely.
Because they're not going to know the scores there, Alexandria, unless you let them know. And so always do yourself. I tell people in this process, I say, assume nothing. Call and confirm. Let me say it again. Don't email.
No.
Don't text. Call and confirm everything. And to my New Yorkers, I'll be like, yo, y'all. To my New Yorkers, let me say to my New Yorkers, I say, come on, fam. You know you pass the school every day. Every
We are
day.
in Long Island City. We are so accessible, and that's another thing what I love about my law school. It's one building. You can't get lost. You could just pull up. We're on the 7 train, the E, the M, the R, the N, the Q. We're so accessible. And our admissions, there's so many people in admissions picking up phone calls, love answering questions, and we can host you with open tours. You can tour the school too. It's great.
Did you hear what she just said? So you just had somebody, a representative from CUNY Law, told you guys to pull up.
Yep. But
So,
schedule an appointment. Don't just pull up cold.
and the thing about it is, I tell people in this process, I said, you know, if you're going to be scared and passive, then this may not be the space for you because everybody is fighting for the same thing. And you have to really put yourself out there. And so one of the things I think that's kind of amazing about you is I want you to talk a little bit about your creativity. I definitely want to give you some space over here. My sis over here, a singer, a creator, an artist, doing a whole damn bag here.
I, I think Thank you, because I think that's what keeps you sane in this law school process. We can have another conversation on what it's like to be a Black law student in this space. And so my creativity is how I am able to not get sucked into the darkness that it is the law. It is what our current political climate. I literally was not about to be on this live, but I'm like, my creative spirit wouldn't have let me done that. I have been shining so bright despite all the darkness, and that is my creative outlet, using my voice, crocheting, knitting, hosting spaces for folks to be creative like myself. It's so important on top of learning the law, as awful that it is.
Yeah, and almost to a degree. I remember that's the first thing that I saw. When I saw you at the table, now we was
Yep.
in Atlanta, hurricane, whatever just happened. Shawty was at the table crocheting, like just on
If I'm gonna be here in the middle of a hurricane, absolutely, I'm gonna
but
be okay.
one of the things that I tell people, you know, oftentimes you find that thing that works for you in order
Yes.
to make it. And I want you to tell me, like, for you, because you know, getting through the LSAT, now you look back on it, you be like, man, I was really thinking that was the end of the world. I was really tripping
Oh,
over.
man.
So now
Yeah.
we sit there in con law during that uncomfortable class, you know, when we start talking about certain things in 3/5. When it hits you like, damn, I'm here. And not am I
Oh,
here,
man.
I'm not drowning.
Oh, that part. I think it hits you. Everyone talks about 1L is hell, and it's real. But it didn't hit me until we learned about strict scrutiny and the race classifications, and then on top of PreLaw, and all of the law, all of the doctrine is rooted in racism. And it wasn't until I looked over at my balsa mates and my pipeline mates and like, you reading what I'm reading? Is this literally in black and white? This is our history. This is what we're learning. And them nodding their head and confirming what I'm feeling is what made it real for me, that I was not alone in reading this doctrine and experiencing what I'm experiencing, like good and bad. And there's plenty of bad. So yes, I understand when you're in the LSATs and this is all you can fathom as being the most difficult barrier right now. It's a complete adjustment when you become a 1L, and I think that's the hardest part, is the adjustment. Not so much the studying and the learning, it is a curve, but adjusting to this is what you have to read and work with. You can't change it because you're learning it right now.
And for you guys who just joined us, we're on live with Lorraine over here holding it down for CUNY Law,
All through.
holding it down for artists and creators.
Yes.
Holding it down point blank, period.
Yeah.
But I guess what I tell people is just like, after I think we complain about it being hard, but we begin to realize that I could do it. It's amazing how that shift happens between your first and your second year. Because your first year, you're just trying to survive. You're trying to figure out what's working. And I think a lot of times for you guys, your LSAT is giving you the first preview of that.
Right.
Because also you're going to have to learn again. And what's crazy, then all of a sudden this clicks. Second year, and you're bored as hell, ready to graduate.
I don't think you get bored your second year of law school. I was not bored. I think 1L is the learning curve. The 2L or 2Hell as they call it is when, oh, you figured it out. Now let's add more, like let's amp it up a little bit. I didn't feel like I was ready to be out until 3L, to be honest. 2L was where they took my foundation and just added pounds of just work. That's when I started becoming involved in the Black Law Student Association. So balancing that, it's hard to manage, especially. And so that's why I'm a mentor now and supporting my 2Ls and 3Ls, because I know how taxing it can be balancing work, life, school, and then any other extracurriculars that are needed to just make you stand out as an applicant. You need those student organizations, mock trial, moot court, all those extracurriculars on top of being a law student.
Hold up. So you just dropped something, and I think some folks need to be checking out.
Yeah.
So what I tell people in this admission process is you always got to say, what can I do to separate myself from other people?
Yep.
What can I do to add to my bag?
Yep.
No matter what's, and this also is going to apply, I think, literally for the rest of your lawyer journey.
Yep.
Because when you graduate, a whole lot of other people graduate too.
Yep.
So everything is about what can I do to add to my profile.
Yep.
And when you think about the things that you added to your profile when you were applying and the things that you added to your profile after, in the midst of you graduating, what advice would you have for someone who, okay, they got their score, got their GPA? What are some advice for things that they can try to do to make themselves into a more competitive applicant or even a more competitive law student when they're trying to get those coveted clerkships? I can imagine how competitive it is in NY for a law student trying to get a clerkship, an internship. Oh my God, it'd be crazy.
I think the best advice I can give is to do something, whether it's volunteer, whether it's building your resume, that you can do for free, regardless of the accolades or anything like that. If you are not putting your heart or soul into it, or if it's not feeding you, you're not going to want to continue to do it. Everything that I've put my energy to, whether it's at work, at a student organization, and my communities that I've done impactful work for, I didn't do it because of what it was going to gain or be a part of my resume. I did it because I wanted to and I cared about whatever I was doing in that moment. And that's what fueled me to keep on going and keep on doing. And that's what the biggest advice I can give. Like, if you want to do mock trial, if you want to do moot court, if you want to volunteer anywhere, do it because you want to and not because it's a tick on your application or resume. Because when they ask you about it, when the interviewer asks you about it, you have nothing nice to say about it. It's cookie cutter. It's not impactful. They're they're going to question that.
And in this landscape, I tell people, I never forget, fam. I had an admissions director from UCLA tell me. He said, "We could choose anybody we want. We can have anybody fill a seat." I was like, "Damn, that's kind of asshole," but whatever. But he's right. He said, "But we're looking for people that's going to add value to our community."
Absolutely. And
And
someone just said they're prepping for the trial team of the 1L, and it's not for the week. Not as a 1L, not as a 2L. Any year, trial prep, mock trial, moot court. I absolutely praise anyone that I know who is a part of those teams and those organizations because it's next level work on top of your schoolwork.
yeah, and the thing about it is, by you first volunteering to do something, that says something about your character.
Mhm.
There's something about your work ethic.
Yep.
There's something like you just talked about, your passion. And these are things that are very familiar to people, either because they either participated in it on their lawyer journey or they saw other people participating in it and they was like, nah, I ain't got time.
Yep.
You have to say to yourself, you know, what, and it could be anything.
Mhm.
What I love about the law now is it's just like there's so many ways for you to enter into this space. And I think when we were in it, sis, we would think political science
Oh
major. There you
my gosh, absolutely. I hate the boxes. I hate the boxes that before law school and after law school, it just explodes. We are put in a poli-sci box, a criminal justice box, without fathoming there's so many other opportunities outside of those boxes. And now I'm just realizing that.
I mean, but you know, I think that, but I just want you guys all to be encouraged out there because one of the things I oftentimes think about, because we're like kind of in this space now where people are either when they're about to take the LSAT one more time, either this week or in January, but now people are submitting apps and people are also getting rejection letters too.
Right.
And I tell people, I said, listen, fam, nobody's immune from rejection. We don't,
No.
and we have people who are either one, you know, going through the process of making that annual thing. Well, you know what? I'll just reapply next year and reapply next.
Mm,
How did you avoid for you
mm.
to get lost in the cycle? Because that's just, it's so easy to slip into that
It
cycle.
is very easy, and I like to get comfortable very, very easily. If I to break from that cycle, there always has to be a change, whether you like it or not. So the changes that I had to make were forced upon me. I was comfortable at home. I was born and raised in Queens, and then postgraduate, I had to move to Staten Island. I was very uncomfortable in that completely new setting. It wasn't by choice, and so a lot of times, and whatever faith that you have, whether if you change the circumstances or change your habits to avoid you getting comfortable, or life is going to throw you in a frenzy that forces you to make the changes that you need to change to break out that cycle, it's going to happen. And I'm in the mindset where I'm thankful and grateful for those setbacks and those outcomes because I needed to change whatever needed to be changed. So right now, my setback is not a setback now, but I did not pass the bar exam the first time around. And now where I'm at now, I'm thankful for that because I know what I need to do in order to pass the bar. I didn't have that mindset or experience until I experienced that. And it's the same with the LSAT. Until you get that score, you are not gonna force yourself to change your study habits or figure out or seek out for help, which a lot of folks are uncomfortable doing, is asking for help. I don't get it. I don't understand it because we're professionals now. You should get it. but it's not you. And that's another thing that folks struggle with.
I mean, let's keep it a buck for so many of us, and I include myself in this equation. A lot of us, the first time that we ever had to ask for help is on 20. We, we thought we would have itched
Right.
throughout through college, ego feeling like we just on 10, blessed over here. I'm gifted. But oftentimes the biggest struggle is coming down to asking for help.
Right.
People wonder kind of going through that cycle right now as well. And one of the things I want to tell people, I want you to tell me what you think about this. It's like, when did you realize it was time to leave that cycle? Because people do gap years and then second year gap year. And because I tell people, no matter how long you wait, your GPA is not going to change. Your LSAT is not going to change unless you make some changes.
Right.
So what we doing here, fam?
I think my change, well, it was a force of nature. It was the pandemic. I was working 2 years from 2018, before the pandemic hit. I was working two part-time jobs. When was I going to study for the LSAT? Working two part-time jobs. It wasn't until the pandemic hit, I was forced to stay at home.
Wow.
And my full-time job was studying for the LSAT. Full-time job.
Your black job was to study for.
My black job was making sure I get the score for the school that gave me a second chance. That was a freak circumstance. However, if you are not in that circumstance, you have to know if you are working full time and you are not putting the time to study, you got to change that because you're not getting the score. You have to ask for help or reach out to your boss, make accommodations, create a schedule. There's so many ways to make those changes that you need to do the work to get what you want. And like I said, whether it's a freak pandemic or making those intentional changes yourself is how it's going to get done.
Because I've had some amazing stories from some clients that I've worked with in the past where they reached out to their employer and their employer paid for their LSAT prep course. Or law firms.
I've heard of that. You can get sponsorships and mentorships. I didn't know that. I wasn't in that network and doing that type of work. I was working nonprofit jobs, and a barista at a bakery. They were very supportful and like, yeah, I have to leave early to study. They were supporting in that way. But now with the networking and all of my experiences, yeah, you can get sponsorships from your employers, upper career professionals who want to invest in your future and time. So many opportunities. You have to advocate for yourself and decide to make that change.
I mean, because I tell people, sis, I'd be like, the first client that you have as a lawyer is you.
I love that.
If you
love that.
advocate for yourself, fam, how you gonna advocate for somebody else? And let me ask you this: on this journey to becoming a lawyer, you have to get used to hearing no's.
Yep.
Ain't nobody gonna curse you out. Even my New Yorkers, my Jersey folks, they ain't gonna curse you out. They may just say, "No, I'm sorry, we're not hiring at this time. There may not be opportunities available. That's it." But nobody's gonna curse you out. Nobody's gonna go off on you. Every lawyer practicing, every judge rocking a robe right now has been where you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if we want to go a buck, the ones look like me and you, oh shoot, they've been in them stories.
And we need those stories. We need to be transparent about it. People don't like to talk about their L's, and I openly talked about my L's, and I'm getting so much love and support. And be like, me too. Yes, of course, absolutely. It's normalized. We have to normalize it, but nobody does.
I mean, and literally, that's why we created this Making the Case for the aspiring to hear from you guys, to be able to see themselves and realize that success is possible because you guys did it, and being able to follow that same blueprint. Now, one thing I want to ask you, I mean, not trying to toot your horn or anything, but can you tell people about how valuable these forums and fairs are? Because these things are on 10, and I be loving them because, I was taught.
I wish I knew about the forums in the conferences as a pre-law student. From the students that I've met, I've only did I was in Atlanta and DC, and the LSAT conferences are just one of many opportunities where you can ask the question that you want to ask. Ask admissions folks, how can I stand out? All these questions that you're providing, the same way to people in who represent the law school. And it's fruitful for me because I get to inspire you guys, but it's fruitful for applicants to really get the inside scoop and also name recognition and networking and advocating for yourself. I want to go to your law school. Here's my name, here's my resume, and where I'm at in the application process. And hopefully, this is a declaration of my commitment to becoming a lawyer at your law school. I wish. I wish I did that.
I wish I did that too.
Yep.
The first I was in ATL with some slides, a do-rag, and a Michael Vick jersey. Had a bag, just going to the table.
Yep.
That's what I was doing. And some reason I didn't get accepted in any law schools that year. I don't know. I literally had clown on my face. But these are a wonderful opportunity for you guys to make a good first impression.
Yeah.
Now, we're meeting a lot of people, but it's a wonderful opportunity for you guys to engage and to connect and build meaningful relationships. And really, I tell people, you ain't got to Google a guest, man. They right there. Hold on. Google it real quick. Hold on. That's just, let's keep it a buck, because we don't realize now, man, these folks.
I will say a gem or a tip I will give, because I've heard it and I've received it. This is your opportunity not only to make a great first impression, but to show that you did the research and you're not asking a question that you could easily find online. I've received a lot of questions from, not all, I think the most fruitful and applicants who I forwarded to my staff were folks who showed me their commitment to our school's mission is we're a public interest law school, and we're all about social justice, movement learning, so many things. You giving me that information tells me, yes, you've done the research. Now, what do you want to know? And I gave that information to folks who showed me their commitment. Other folks just asked me questions about the program. Here we go. Here's our information packet. Hope you apply.
Find that back real quick, because I want to make sure you guys caught that gem. So I'm gonna break it down real quick. Y'all checking this out, right? Because we got fairs and forums going on this weekend, and then we got one going on next week, the digital one.
Are you doing the PreLaw conference, the Black PreLaw conference next week?
In NY.
Yep.
You're gonna be there. That's gonna be around the corner.
Yeah. Yes, I'll be there.
So let's get this right. All right. So you said that based off of the engagement that you have with people who came to your table.
Yes.
If they impressed you with information to show their preparation, you forwarded their information to admissions.
I can't confirm nor deny, but yes. That's just something that I did because that's a commitment, and I have folks in my DMs, and I am an advocate for folks who are an advocate for themselves. That's how you show that you're advocating for yourself and your law school journey and process. I don't know what happens moving forward, but I know where I'm at as an alumni who loves the school as much as I do. Yeah, show me your love for the same school that I love.
Did you get that, Javon? Did you get that, Derek? Did you get that, Mary?
No.
People throw out gems, y'all. Let me stop. I'm gonna be throwing up gang signs. No affiliation. But when people throw out gems, you guys have to be able to take it. And one of the things I tell them is, listen, if you don't take on this opportunity and utilize this blueprint, somebody else will.
Right.
Somebody else will. Now, one of the things I love to close our show off with is I tell people, this journey is filled with peaks and valleys. Unfortunately, I hate it, but a lot of men be like, dang, where the peaks at? Where people either one may have bombed the LSAT. Imposter syndrome is a serious thing on this journey, Self-doubt, mental health, all those things are so hard. And a lot of times we isolate ourselves. out of fear of not being received or not having support. I want you to give you the last word. I know it's Wednesday. We ain't at Bible study, but I want to give you an opportunity to share some encouraging words to somebody who may be on the cusp of quitting, who may be having doubts about the LSAT they took today,
Right.
to get them to keep pushing and keep carrying on.
Oh man, given this Wednesday following
Woo.
a hell of a journey where me myself wanted to quit today.
Yeah.
Being here,
I got that.
to go to my job. Um, my go-to is always trust the process. Even if you don't like it, even if you are in a state of grief, frustration, anger, sadness, every negative feeling, I've used that as a energy source to push through this process. I have to trust it because there's no other way of my living and my being unless I'm trusting in something bigger than me to get me through this valley.
Mm.
When you hit the peaks, they're great and they're necessary as well. It's literally a blip of all of the energy that you went through, and then you're back down again, unfortunately. Um, but I've been trusting it thus far from every moment in my life and my journey, and I'm hoping you do the same. I know it can be a little condescending, especially in the state that we're in. How are you telling me to enjoy my low point? And I'm like, yeah, because you don't know where the high is going to take you from that point. You don't know. But if it's something that you want and you're going to strive for, man, that's the force.
Mm.
It truly, truly is.
Wow. Because I mean, the theme for today, sis, like, I don't know, as soon as I woke up this morning, I just heard, like, my head is just Kendrick Lamar. It's going to be all right. Be all right. That's the song. And I want you guys to know that no matter what you're going through, it's going to be all right. I have
Right.
a young lady here who literally went from rejections, rescued herself from her gap year cycle. And not only is she a graduate of law school, she is a representative of that law school as well.
Through and through. Yep.
And I want you guys to I want to be so thank you for taking the time.
No, thank you for having this space. You are such an inspiration, and this platform is phenomenal.
Well, it's only possible because of you
Right.
guys. And guys, if you guys have questions, make sure you holler at her, follow her, see her art, y'all. Sis got
I
skills, y'all.
got you. Please, 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 all the support, and I would give it right back to you. And wherever you are in your law school journey, I'm just a DM away. I'm very active. I try to be. So thank you.
All right, so y'all heard that, right? She
Very
said, "Don't be scared."
active. If you're passionate about CUNY law, it's my home, and I want to see that home grow.
And again, you guys, I want you guys to continue to fight for your lawyer dreams. Sis says she's going to be at the law school fair in New York on the 14th.
I
Y'all
will be, and we're
be up there,
also giving a tour that Thursday. If you're a part of it's the Black PreLaw
PreLaw
uh,
conference.
conference. Um, Thursday we're hosting a tour, and then I will be tabling on Saturday at the hotel.
And you will recognize her with the quickness.
For sure.
She'll be the one rocking the smile with the crow's
For sure. A
feet.
bright green tablecloth. CUNY is a pop of color.
And so you guys reach out. So if you can't go to the one in New York, fine. Go to the one in Houston. You can't go to the one in Houston, you better sign up for the one that's digital. Life
Okay.
with an opportunity. You have an opportunity. You either make a way or make an excuse. We're making ways possible for you. Please travel and navigate that way. We're rooting for you. We're fighting for you.
I
We're praying.
am.
And sis is gonna be waiting for y'all. Y'all better come on now.
Pull up, pull up, pull up.
Thanks,
Yay!
man. You
Thank
guys, I'll see you. I'll
you.
see you guys next Wednesday on Making the Case. And to my people down in Houston, I'll see you in 48 hours. Peace and blessings.
Hey, have a safe trip.
All right, peace and blessings, you guys.